to the weekly Cosmic Energy and Oracle reading for April 10th through 16th, 2017. I'm Tracy of IntuitiveTracyRoy.com. And as always, we bring you my spirit guide, Whitehawk, for the channeled reading. But before we do that, so it's been a tough week, right? So we're still in the week of April 3rd through 9th. And I always touch back. And that was a really interesting reading about a tree falling down and the community helping to bring it back up, or some people helping to bring it back up. So for me, it was very interesting that it was about a vision that I had in my own childhood and a drawing I had made. And I certainly never thought it would be about my own child in the same grade, at the same age as I was in that reading, that, you know, we would be helping this week. And it wasn't anything big, like in regards to way people's minds can go. Just that, you know, he was having a bad week and it was he we would be helping. And so that's how it was for me. And I thought, oh God, you know, I'm having a great week. And then things happened with him. And then I ended up having a leak in my ceiling from my toilet. And it was a really simple thing, you know, and it made this big mess. And I'm like, why, you know? And I'll give you some insight into how my intuition works and how it's evolved. So I was driving and this bird, a robin, almost flew into the side of my car. So I was coming and it was coming, and then we almost went, but the bird at the last minute was able to go like that. So there was no collision that occurred, right? So I went, oh crap. That's what I do. I go, oh no, that's not a good omen. It never is, because to me that means that there was a near accident, meaning I'm going to have a close call regarding something. So I went, okay, what's it going to be? So then while I was out shopping, you know, doing the errands you have to do, such as grocery, my daughter sent me an image over Google Hangouts and said, Mom, there's a leak. And I went, oh crap, there's a leak. And I told her, you know, check around check the toilets, and you know, where's it coming from first off? And then I thought, okay, well, where's there water there? And I said, okay, check around the toilets. And I said to her, you know, is it bad? Do I need to come home? In other words, can I take an hour and do the groceries or whatever? And she never responded. And I thought, okay, well, the leak can't be that bad then if she's not responding to me. And of course, at this time, my phone's battery's dying because I forgot to plug it in the night before, right? That's the way crap happens, right? And so I finally get home. Excuse me, frog in my throat. And this leak, I look at my ceiling and I go, oh my God, it's coming from the toilet. It has to be. So I go upstairs, and fortunately it wasn't a big deal. It was some nut or bolt underneath the tank that had gotten loose, and the tank water was dripping. So I was able to, you know, to tighten that. However, there was a pool of water around the toilet, and the way the flooring had been laid, there was a hole. So that's where the water was getting into and was leaking down to the kitchen. Unfortunately, it didn't create, you know, a lot of damage because I caught it on time. But then I was like getting all mad at myself, going, oh, I'm such an idiot. You know, I should have come home when she said it was a leak. But because, you know, we have so many things on the go, got to get groceries for the kids for their lunches and so on, I stayed out. And so in the end, it was okay. It dried up. It's fine. There's not a crack or anything in the ceiling. You know, it won't take a lot to mend it. However, it could have been really bad, right? Had I left it, that would have got bigger and bigger, and then that hole would have probably caved, and I would have had a bigger mess in my kitchen with the water. And so then I went, oh no, that's not a good omen either. More insight. Because I went, oh no, water means emotion, and to me, and I'm like, okay, there was 2 leaks. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a bigger leak and a smaller leak. And then we got, you know, this news that upset my son and upset me, and then there was crying and upsettedness, and I was like, I'm like, that's what the omen was, right? So that's how the intuition comes to me. That's how it works for me. And you may think that's crazy, but that's how it is for me. Like when the robin almost hit the car, I was going to have a close call. Well, the close call is that, you know, that accident in my ceiling, that leak in my ceiling could have been a lot worse. And I would have had a plumber come in, or someone had to fix the ceiling and stuff. But fortunately, I got there on time and was able to clean up the water so it would stop seeping through that crack. And then, of course, then the news came that would upset my son and upset me. And so that was the leaking of emotion, right? And I was just like, oh my God, this has just been an awful week, is sort of how I viewed it. And I thought, oh, you know, I was having such a good week. Why did this all happen to happen? And all this have to happen? And I was like, damn Easter energies. Those damn Easter energies, you know, they're pushing us through to rebirth. And like I said, death can be painful before we hit the rebirth, and we're not there yet. We're coming into it, right? In fact, this is the week coming in that it's going to be Easter. So happy Easter! I do hope it's happy for you. Anyways, I just wanted to share those things with you, and I hope you did take the time to listen, because that'll help you with your intuition as well. Okay. Let's go get Whitehawk and see what he has to say for this upcoming week of resurrection. So I'm just taking time to calm myself down from that talk. So I'm hearing, indeed, one could say those were some very choppy waters to surf. And interestingly enough, you know, it's normally Whitehawk that comes. Today I'm seeing one of my other guides. He's a polar bear, and he comes and sort of teaches me the, how can I say that, the ebbs and flows of emotion with water, and what it's going to be like for energy. And so he's the one speaking, and he says that. And then I see him on a bodyboard. He's taking a bodyboard, and he's running across the water, and he's going to do some bodyboarding. And he says, indeed, he says, that was a tough week to come through. He says, there's no doubt. And so he's surfing on, is it bodyboarding? Maybe it's not bodyboarding. You know, when they take the board and they skim over the shore, the shoreline. So it's a very, and they just skim over it by running, and then they jump onto the board. Can't remember what that's called. Anyways, that's what he's doing. It's not, maybe it's not body surfing. And he's done it. He's surfing. It's good. All's well, right? It's not like he landed on his butt or anything. And he says, indeed, he says, that those were tough waters, he says, to meander through this past week. However, for many of you, it's going to be a return to flow, he says. And as he says that, and he's sort of facing us on this board as it's skimming across the water, easily, by the way, he lifts up his glasses like that, because he's wearing sunglasses, and he goes like that, and kind of goes, oh, how could I do that? You know, like that to us. And so he's pleased with himself to be able to share that with us. He says, now he says, I'll turn it back over to Whitehawk. He says, I just wanted to come and share that with you, how smooth it's going to go for us all this upcoming week. And he runs back and up the beach. And it's fun to watch. And then I see Whitehawk come down, walking down the beach. So polar bear is going up this way, and he's literally a polar bear, just so you know. And he's walking up. He walks up on his twos, not his fours. He's up on his back hind legs. And so he's more human-like, but looks like a bear. And then, so polar bear's going up, Whitehawk's coming down, and he says, thank you. He says, polar bear, how nice to see you, he says. And he comes down, he sits on the sand on the beach, and he just takes in the view. He looks out to the sea and sees the sun, and sits watching the sun. Try saying that. Sits watching the sun. And he's just enjoying it. And then polar bear actually comes in and sits down with him and is enjoying the sun as well with his company. And then for whatever reason, they're both rolling in the sand, laughing, being playful with each other, like friends would do with each other. And just to note, just so you guys know, this has never happened before, where two of my guides come together. Well, these two guides, I shouldn't say that, because I've had, you know, Jesus and I've had Whitehawk come together. And I have another guide that will come in with Whitehawk too for personal readings. However, this pairing has never happened in a reading. Usually they're each on their own, so it's coming together. So that's how I may interpret it. However, so they've come together and they are playing you know, just joking around, having fun together, enjoying each other's company. And I don't know, it's like, you know when you're like 11, 12, 13, just before you hit, you know, being a teenager and having to be cool, you know, those fun times when you just spent around chasing each other, or playing tag, or just goofing off and roughhousing, or just silly stuff, right? And that's what they're doing, really. It's like a return to play, a return to having fun. Just being silly boys, you know, children. And then they sit down together and again watch the sun, and they lean into each other, you know, head to head, leaning on each other, and they're just enjoying the sun. It feels like a sunset, I guess, now, the ending of the day, and just that it's been a really, really good day together. They're enjoying each other's company and just good friends and feeling good. And is that joy I'm feeling, or sadness? Because sometimes those two can feel about the same. Contentness. So it's like it's a joy, feeling joy. And it's really weird because polar bear is usually a male, okay? But in this visual, as I see them, polar bear is now a girl. It's turned into a girl. And so it's, so you have the male-female thing there happening now, because Whitehawk's still a male and female. So that could be, again, meaning the male and female energies coming together to create joy, to create bliss. So that could be anything from, you know, new relationships, new partnerships, romantic partnerships, and such like that. So pay attention for stuff like that, guys. Just feels like bliss, guys. really does. It goes like this. And they just leave me with this scene of them by their back, and I see their back, and they're just leaning up against each other. Now they're arm in arm, and they're just sitting there looking out to the water, and you have the sun as it's setting, and it ripples along the water, and you have that illumination in the water. It's almost like, although it's the sun, it feels like the moon that's illuminating the river. So it's an interesting feel. It really is. But they're just enjoying it. So we'll leave them there. God bless. And then Whitehawk turns around and waves goodbye. And he's just going to be left here enjoying himself with his lovely friend. God bless. Well, that feels all lovely. Yep. Watch for new partnerships, relationships, romantic relationships, all that stuff, guys. And it looks like it's going to be smooth sailing, because you know Polar Bear took that, why do I keep saying body? Bodyboard. It's not a bodyboard. I don't know what that is. So if you know what it is, comment what it's called, what I'm talking about, where you take the board and you just skim over the shore of the water. Anyways, that's what he was doing. So it came easily and fluidly to him. So looking like a good week, and we certainly are very deserving of it. And so I did not mention my crystal I'm using today. I'm using a raw chalcedony, which was gifted to me when I went for my healing 2 weeks ago. And this is amazing. I've just been holding it, and the energy has just been vibrating all around my whole body. So like the aura, it feels like it's the aura, but it's not outside of the body, it's actually on the body. So it's the outline of the body. And it's just a nice little vibration that's coming through it. It's so warming and loving. Oh, it's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Okay, kids, wishing you a very happy Easter. Get out there and enjoy the weather as it starts to get better for us. And don't forget to join me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for our daily wisdom with Whitehawk. And if me and Whitehawk can be of service to you, intuitivetracyroy.com.